Have you heard of this leading crime novelist who, it turns out, was a convicted murderer herself? I'm talking about Anne Perry, who is the author of some massive crime fiction franchises like the William Monk series, like the Thomas and Charlotte Pitt series. Big fiction writer. And it turns out that actually she'd been a convicted murderer. Let's rewind back to 1954 when Anne Perry, who was known then as Juliet Hume, was a young teenager living in New Zealand, and she formed a very obsessive relationship with a classmate, another girl, and these two girls became obsessed with each other and thought they were going to live together happily ever after. But then there was talk of maybe Juliet was going to be sent back to England, the girls were going to be separated, and so these two girls decided, as one does, that the best way to ensure that they remain together was to murder the mother of the classmate. And this was immortalized in the 1994 movie Heavenly Creatures, directed by Peter Jackson, he of Lord of the Rings fame. This movie starred Kate Winslet in her first film role. So this movie comes out in 1994, and some journalists are like, I wonder what happened to these girls. I mean, they went to prison after committing this murder, but what happened to them? And some journalists tracked down that actually one of the girls then went back to England. She then lived in the US for a little bit, and then she converted to Mormonism, and then in 1979, she published her first mega bestseller crime fiction under the name Anne Perry. And from there, she built her career gradually until she was exposed with the release of this film as this teenage convicted murderer. She admitted it, and that was part of her story going forward, and she had several interviews to talk about that event. But she kept writing, and she leaves behind a huge legacy of crime fiction, a prolific bibliography, and it just goes to show that there are always second acts in life. If you have the crazy start of a life, you can have an even crazier second act as a crime novelist, and you know exactly what you're writing about. That was the crazy life of Anne Perry.